Hello everyone, nubkeks here, welcome back to Nub Raids, and in today's video we're gonna pull some ancient shards because we have this champion chase tournament. It is fairly pricey now, to go all the way to the 125 points up here, there's 75 down here. You can skip 250 total and still complete the Titan event. But yeah, the big question is, this is not the Titan event, this is the Titan event. The big question is what will be coming next week. So yeah, I mean, it is a spicy one. I think, it depends on what you've done so far. You could grab just the 75, skip the 125. I mean, the challenge would be if they came in and if the next summon event also has the same split, 75 125, you could skip 125 from that. I've skipped 125 from two different summon events and be good, because I mean, like, you're spending more than twice as many shards to get these extra points, right? So it's a possibility. What I'm leaning towards is probably just going all out, and I'm kind of tempted to go up to the 10k to be honest, because for me at the moment I have a lot of ancient shards. I've got 300. I'm in a really good spot. Now I've got one primal, obviously that's all gone after last weekend, but I've got a really, really big chunk of voids. 14 sacreds is workable as well, so I'm not feeling too bad. Obviously there's going to be a fusion coming up for February. The big thing that I'm interested in, the most interested thing for me in the assassins, definitely Bayek. I think Bayek is crazy good. I think this passive is very, very, very strong. Very strong. And yeah, he's just in general a good champion, but this passive potentially could just win you fights, right? I think that's the way I've been thinking about it. It's like, sure, some enemies have, like, a Carnage has pretty high accuracy. That's fine. But there's plenty of damage dealers in the game who don't build high accuracy. And certainly, he's not going to be as strong on defense, because this is coming. But on arena offense, or attacking in siege, or doing any sorts of attacks, like, if you know it's a damage dealer who typically doesn't build much accuracy, like an Empress is a classic example, Predator, nice. These champions don't build crazy accuracy. You can make it so they just can't crit your team, which is actually obnoxious, right? Now, obviously, when you're fighting him on defense, you know it's coming. But I mean, in live arena, he's going to be potentially a must-ban champion as well if you've picked damage dealers and you don't have accuracy. So he's the one I'm most interested in, and I do want a big soul for him. I want to conserve resources for that. But yeah, I'm going to pull lots of shards here now, I think. So in terms of the number of shards that you need, typically in a 2x ancient shards, that's a champion chase like this, you are getting 53.3 points on average from your ancient shard. That varies quite a bit. It's mostly the epics do most of the heavy lifting, to be honest. But yeah, like you because you're not pulling a really large number of shards. Even so, for example, for the 5,500, it's about 100 shards. That's not a particularly large number in the grand scheme of things. So your experience might vary a little bit to either side. It's unlikely to vary massively, though it potentially could, but it's not super likely, to be honest. Yeah, so we're looking about 100 shards for this. So we're looking about 200 shards for the 20 red essence. I think I'll probably go for that, to be honest. I would really, again, going this far, I would quite like a mythical book and 20 red essence. So I've got the resources to do it and still have some shards left over if we're lucky. To get 1550 divided by 53.3, by the way, you're looking at 29 shards, ancient shards for just this basic one, which is very doable, really. It's been a while since the 2x ancient, so most likely you've got that. Right, we'll go in. We do have a 10x for Edward. It would be great if we got him, but it's extremely unlikely. So we're not even too worried about that. So yeah, let's go. I do have a showcase of Edward. Now, again, the issue with a lot of champs, right, is do you have the gear? Like for the oh my god, that's such a bad start. 10 rares, disaster. Disaster. Like for Edward, I gave him some of my best gear. God, you forget how quick ancient shards are. They rip through them, huh? All right, 3 epics in that. That makes up for the last set. Good. Yeah, I had him with incredibly good gear, and he's very strong. But like, I think Edward is ridiculously. He does really, really, really well with the mythical relic from the Grim Forest, the Lens of Intangibility, which gives him perfect veil at the start of the fight, which lets him open with his A2 and have it be irresistible, and it gives him a huge damage boost as well, which lets you build him super fast. It's incredibly good. Problem is, how many lenses of intangibility do you actually have? They're all incredible. It's incredibly good on so many champions. So would you? Oh, King Garog. Okay, that's the champion. King Garog. To be fair, he did get buffed. Again, his sort of issue is he got buffed. He's good, but you know, being good for an end game account isn't good enough. But if you get him early on, this guy's got a pretty bad rap, and I don't think he quite deserves it. So he has a 4-turn cooldown AoE that ignores defense, potentially a lot of defense. So this does hit really hard. His A2 is a 4-hitter. Now, each critical hit can decrease the cooldown of his AoE. So that's normally, I'd say, a 4-turn AoE in 2026 is just pretty poor, but he can reduce it. And again, he does big single target damage. His A1 can stun, pretty nice. And then his passive, he gets some speed and he gets some crit damage every time he kills an enemy in a round. And whenever an enemy is revived, he gains turn meter and gets a self buff. Now that's very powerful, and you could put him with a life harvest blessing, where he's going to get even more turn meter when an enemy is revived, and he actually becomes quite a scary damage dealer who can sort of rotate between his A3 and his A2 very frequently. That being said, of course, for endgame, you know, you've lots of champs that do lots of damage. This guy has 0 survivability. But yeah, he's nowhere near as bad as he was. He's actually like okay now. So yeah, is he useful for me? No. No, he's not. But we're going to keep going. Let's go. We got one. I think we could hope for maybe a second legendary. We certainly will hope for one. But yeah. I mean, if I'm only going to be pulling like 100 shards, wait, am I going to be pulling 200? Oh, if I'm pulling 200 shards, we definitely want another legendary. 1 or 2 more would be nice. We'll see how we do. Okay, we'll check in on our progress in a little bit here. So, I think I finished the Orc Faction Guardians. I really need... Let's do 2 more and then we'll check where we're at. Okay, we'll just summon to the Reserve Vault. I love that they've added this, by the way. So good. Makes it so much handier for pulling shards. All right. Oof, not a great 10 pull. One thing too, you could change your gems into ancient shards too if you want. So it does make ancient shards a lot more accessible. You could get something like that. You could turn your gems into ancients, get 10 rares. How about that? That's a couple of 10 rare pulls we've got. That feels real bad. You really want 1 epic per 10 pull minimum to feel good. All right, there's 2, there's 3. We're getting good luck after the bad pulls at least. Where does that put us? So that's that's over 100 shards. I went slightly over, and we're actually slightly short. So I've been slightly unlucky. Not surprising with the tempo, so we are slightly unlucky here. Below average, but that's fine because we're gonna keep going. Yeah, so we need to pull like basically another 100-ish. Let's take a quick look. Faction Guardians. Orcs is done. Yeah, I do have loads of Nogdars, but I don't think I want to empower Nogdar. Probably want to save it for a better champion at some point. I think unless you're actually using a champion, you don't want to empower them. Yeah, for duplicates, I actually need lots of Lizardman dupes, especially Python. Well, no, I need lots of Lizardman dupes because I'd love to use that dupe Python to empower Predator, obviously. 1 more Ogre dupe would finish that. They're all done. And then I actually need lots of duplicates for all these factions. Sylvan Watchers is the worst for dupes for me. I've got, funny enough, Sylvan Watchers, I feel like, guys, I feel like I've almost as many mythicals as I do legendaries in this faction. Like, it's actually kind of crazy. Bro. Right, let's keep going. Hopefully we have enough space for all this. I think we do. We might end up pulling all my ancients. We'll see. We will see. Oh man, 1 epic per. Yeah, hopefully you guys have better luck. We are due another legendary for sure as well. I feel like we've been bad on epics and bad on legendaries. It's pretty much the worst of every situation. Oh my god, it's just rare after rare, dude. Are you kidding? Okay, epic at the end, but bloody hell. Whew. Yeah, yeah, all right. It's one of those days. This is not, oh my God. It's not my lucky day. All right, there's an epic. Okay, okay, that's fine. That's fine. It is funny. After coming off the 2x primals, you know, people like to say the primal is just an ancient shard in disguise. 2x primals definitely feels a lot better than 2x ancients. I mean, it's twice as good, really. A primal is a 2x ancient in disguise, which, as you can see, is mostly just rare shit, right? But in 2x primals, 2x everything in primals, it's actually all right. All right, there we go. There's a few epics. We'll take that. Go again. Ay. All right. And voids are just purple ancients as well, aren't they? They're like exactly the same pull chance. All right, we might as well pull another 210 pulls, see where we're at. I think we're going to be a significant, a very significant chunk short of where we'd want to be. Another 10 pull of all rares. Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's not... What do you have, a 16% chance? So you're expecting like 1.5 epics per 10 pull? So getting 10 rares is not absolutely ludicrous, but yeah, we're struggling. We've got the mythical, we've obviously got this, that's fine, but I imagine we're only bet 9,000. Only 8,000, we're way off. We're so far off. Right, we're gonna have to keep going here. I think I need another 2,000 points. It might have, the tournament might not have updated, but we'll see. I feel like that first pull, I don't know, is that me? If we X out, it feels like that first pull is kind of slow, and then it ramps up. Is that just all in my head? I think it's all in my head. I think the epic is slightly slower. Oh, it's the Snick Track. Okay, I actually have a Snick Track. I pulled him relatively recently. I haven't even got around to using him. So the problem for me is for Chimera, I think Snick Track is best as a Chimera champion. Ally protection, reflect damage, and heals himself. So the healing himself keeps him alive, helps him stay alive with ally protection. Reflect damage, sort of helpful for one Chimera trial. Now, more importantly, he also reflects damage, and he boosts up reflect damage, which is really cool. There is unfortunately an anti-synergy in his kit though, where he puts out shields on his A2, and shields do not work with reflect damage, which is a bummer. Leech also helps a Chimera trial, decrease speed for Chimera, decrease attack is useful as well. So yeah, he's a great nifty little Chimera champion. He's not bad for other bosses, not bad for Hydra. Not great, but not bad. Mostly, his best area is definitely Chimera. The problem I've run into, or I run into with Chimera, is I just don't really like it. So, and there's two problems. Number one, there's not that many champions who are actually good at Chimera. Let's do one final 10 pull, YOLO. We're going to be 30 over where we want it to be. Well, actually, it might take more than this. Oh, never mind. A legendary straight off. Okay, that makes me feel a bit better. The 10 pull doing us right. And of course, now we get a bunch of epics. Then we get 1,000 points in that 10 pull. Yeah, there's not that many champs that are actually Chimera specialists. Like, considering Chimera is over a year old at this point, there's been very, very few specialist options, really. I mean, it's the same sort of thing with... we'll come back to Bloodgorge in a second. He's actually new. It's the same thing that amuses me for Hydra, which is, what, 4 or 5 years old at this point? In Hydra, Perfect Veil is a key buff. And, you know, it's like, you would think that they would give us lots of options for Perfect Veil. In terms of champions I have that can provide the team with Perfect Veil to do that, literally Tutora Rhymehide is the only legendary. He can do it. That's it. That's it. And I've been a content creator for most of this time, for these 4 years of Hydra. In terms of, like, I've got Rector Drath. On my account, I've Rector Drath and Tutora Rhymehide. My account has not changed in the entire time Hydra has come out. They haven't introduced a single accessible Team Perfect Veil champion in that entire time, because I would have them. They haven't introduced a single one. There's been some that you'd have to get lucky to pull, but that's it. That is it, which is crazy. Now, I guess they have obviously introduced a bunch of damage dealers who can provide Perfect Veil for themselves. I guess that was their intent, that you bring a damage dealer with Perfect Veil to kill off Head of Torment. but the rest of your team just sort of gets screwed by randomness. I don't know, but crazy. Chimera, I think, has a similar problem where they're just not releasing very many specialist champions at all. And certainly there's a lot of random old legendaries that aren't doing anything useful that you could easily, if they, instead of reworking 2 champions per month, if they reworked, is it even 2 per month? It's a bit slower than that, I think. If they rework like 5 or 6, but they repurposed a lot of old champions that have no place in the game to be specialists for the different dungeon bosses, or to be specialists for the clan bosses or whatever, or for Curse City or Doom Tower or Grimfire. There's a lot they could do to give you more options. So that's a big problem with Chimera. The other problem is it just takes a long time, and it's not very fun, and it's also the trials are extremely difficult and extremely random. So although I've pulled some interesting Chimera champs, like Aphidus is great for Chimera, or Snicktrack is great, I just haven't used them. Just haven't used them. Right. So the other 2 were dupes. Bloodgorged, believe it or not, is new. It's my first ever Bloodgorged. I know Mashald is a pretty decent... He's one of the few decent Chimera champs as well, with the 2 turns of True Fear. Which, again, you kind of need 2 turns of True Fear for the Ram form to be pleasant, I would say. Not even pleasant, to be more bearable. But, like, never got Mashald, so fuck me, I guess. I don't know. Bloodgorged. Luckily enough, I've got a 6-star Lydia, but it's an absolute pain in the ass of randomness. Will she place a True Fear instead of a normal fear? Because otherwise I'll die. I don't know. Anyway, Bloodgorged, he's rubbish. Low speed. He does have Block Revive that fully ignores defense. It's on a 4-turn. I mean, it's useful. You could use him, but he's nothing special. He's an AoE that puts skills on, I guess, on full... One skill, I guess, on full cooldown, which again is kind of interesting. Though champions these days typically have shorter cooldowns than they had back in the past. And then he's got a double hit. Each hit, 75% chance of decreased defense. He's not terrible, actually. A 3-turn AoE putting a skill on cooldown. A 4-turn, 100% ignore defense nuke. Yeah, I mean, he's all right. But just where are you actually going to use him? He's clearly like an arena, somewhat a wave champion. But he has really bad... He's got lots of base HP, useless. But kind of bad base attack and really bad speed. I don't know. Again, he's not unusable, but... He's viable, but he's not optimal, right? Really, he's not unusable, but would you ever actually use him? For me, am I ever going to actually use him? I don't think so. No, probably not. Could be helpful for some difficult stages of things. Anyway, there we go. We got our 20 red essence. We still have some ancient shards in the bank, and I've got gems, so I could get more if I wanted. I'm number 1 here, but I mean, 200 ancient shards is not really that much in the grand scheme of things. Like, this guy's pretty close. It's literally the first hour of the tournament. So I couldn't even... I wouldn't even be confident about being top 3 by the end of today, to be honest. People could go way beyond this. I don't know why people really would too much. That being said, you got some people at 40, 28,000, etc., which is, we're talking... I mean, for 28,000, you're talking, what, 500 at least, probably? We did 300. I did 300 for, 230 for 10,000. Yeah, for 28,000, you're looking at 600-700 ancients, maybe? Pretty crazy. Anyway, we got a couple of legendaries at the end. Does any of that help me? We got, who did I get? We got Orc Duplicate. Doesn't really help. Unfortunately, an Undead Duplicate, again, doesn't really help. And then I forgot the other one I pulled. Oh, Snicktrack. Might help, actually. Hang on. That's what Skinwalkers. We finished it. I mean, I could +2 a Norog. I don't see a point. I don't really use any of these, so yeah, I don't see a point in really empowering any of them. So probably just wait. Again, I think with empowerment, like, because they could come, even like Pytheon would have been a pretty solid chance. Like, if I had some duplicate Pytheons, I probably would have empowered him. But then, surprise, Predator turns out actually in the end to be extremely strong. which is funny because of like the amount of hate he got. Like, you know, I put out a video literally a couple of days after he released saying Predator's better than you think, and I got so many hate messages of like, stop lying, you're just trying to sell Predator for Plarium, like you absolute asshole. I'm like, you know, mad fucking shit, guys, mad fucking shit. People have too much time on their hands, I tell you. Like, you probably would have empowered Python, but now, of course, you'd much rather empower Predator if you bought him. The ultimate pay-to-win champion, pretty much. Yeah, or like, you know, Cupidus. I could have easily empowered Cupidus before. Now I'd obviously much rather empower Ezio instead. I don't think I ever would have empowered Abyss or Helior, but there they are. So yeah, I don't know. I think you're better off. I would expect more and more collabs as time goes on, by the way, guys. So I think the collaborations for Raid have been incredibly successful. I don't see them slowing down. I think big events like the Assassin's Creed thing, I could see them doing. I know we had a video on potential events they could do in the future. We asked AI, which was a lot of fun. AI, what are the most likely collabs going to be? You know, a lot of comments saying we don't want more of these IP collabs so fast. I think they will at the very least do more things like Chaos Awakes, where they. Corrosa's growing on me, to be honest, as well. Not as good as Predator, but she's grown on me a bit. Still very clunky, but she's alright. I think some like raid lore events, certainly. And I definitely think IP collabs are going to be pretty frequent, to be honest, as well. I think they've done extremely well. I think they drive a lot of sales and engagement. I don't think they're going to slow down very much at all on them. So yeah, what that means for you in terms of might make you enjoy the game more or less, depending on your preference. In terms of empowering champs, though, once you've got to that stage, I think you really want to wait with any champion, unless you are using them and they are important and empowering them will make a difference. Don't bother. And again, empowering for legendaries, like +1 is really nothing. +2 is a pretty big deal for anyone building speed, for PvP especially. Level 3 is not a huge deal. Level 4 is absolutely bonkers, because you start getting, especially for damage dealers. By the time you get to level 4 for a damage dealer, at that point, you've got all of, that's where these stats start to actually add up quite a bit for damage. This adds up quite a bit for hybrid damage. The speed is nice and the crit stats are pretty big. So it actually starts to make a pretty substantial difference at that point. But it's like level 2 for supports, level 4 for damage are massive breakpoints. Other than that, like a blessing is so much more impactful. So much more impactful. So don't worry about the empowerment too much. But yeah, like I know I empowered my turtles because, you know, those champions are never going to empower anything else, and the turtles are great, obviously. And I've got a +1 Rotus, which is not super useful, but if we get him to +2, that'd be quite nice because he's got terrible base speed. Yeah, anyway, there you are. Good luck with your pulls. Hopefully you have better luck than me. Like I said, I went 30 shards. Again, this is what I said. The average is 53.3, but if you get lucky or unlucky, it might not work out. We got pretty unlucky, and then our final 10 pull was super lucky, and I had, you know, 10% of all the points I got was in the final 10 pull out of 230 shards. So then we went a bit over, unfortunately. So yeah, c'est la vie. No Edward, obviously 3 legendaries, no Edward, pretty much expected. About 5% chance that Edward would be a legendary each time. So yeah, nope. But there we go. Good luck if you're pulling, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.